Hey! Welcome back to the Marshall Podcast. I'm Chanel Marshall.
And I am the one and only Antoine Marshall.
So we have a big announcement today.
Yes, we do.
And the announcement is, no, we're not pregnant.
Right. One day soon.
Yes, one day soon. Praying for that. No, we actually just signed a purchase agreement for shares in a portfolio of 6 residential rental properties. So basically, we have a percentage of ownership in these 6 homes, and we'll get our dividends every quarter. We don't have to look for tenants or anything like that. All of the homes already have tenants. All of the homes are in great condition. So yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. So it's definitely exciting. It's something that we've been working on for quite some time. Really, Antoine, I just probably came in on the tail end, but it's something that we did want to do together. So I'm gonna let you take over on how this all came about.
So exciting. So, obviously everybody has dreams, right? And my main focus is to do media. And obviously my wife and I, we both work. But for me is I really wanted to figure out ways to make passive income, and not just passive income, but make money while we're asleep, so I can focus on the things I really want to do. So anyway, that's that. So obviously, starting this, I actually started not wanting to do this, but I was trying to figure out how to get into the game because it's very competitive. Mm-hmm. It really is. And we'll get into the loans and this and that pretty soon. My wife will talk about that. But it's like I didn't want to take out a loan. One reason is I didn't want to pay any money back right now. Another reason is my credit still needs to be improved too. So I didn't want even if they approved me, I didn't want any outstanding, rates of paying something back. So I'm like, well, let me partner with some people who will be interested. So I started, with a few friends, good brothers of mine, and it was a great idea. And I was ready to move forward. God has blessed me financially constantly in the past that I can be able to do that. But everybody wasn't on the same page as far as wasn't ready to put money into the pot yet. And I was. But I wasn't ready to do it on my own. So I'm like, okay, we're not ready. Fine, I get it. So it's going to take me years to save up because it's competitive. Mm-hmm. I mean, for a rundown home that looked like that was in World War III, people want 35, 40K for it. Mm-hmm. Then you're talking about another 60, 70,000 you got to put into the house. So it's like, I don't have that. And I'm not trying to rush, but it's going to take me a while to get there by myself. So a guy, just to make a story short, a guy at a previous job during the pandemic, he was like, you should really do this with your wife. I'm like, oh, I should. Now, obviously, I'm more of because of what I've been through financially, I'm more of the start business, create your own opportunity person. My wife, she's corporate opportunity. She had, not to say that she didn't have her struggle, but she was in her career. So I always felt that she was good, But my wife, for a while, for the past months, actually, she's been like, man, I want a side hustle. What am I interested in, Antoine? I don't know what I want to do. And I'm like, well, you're good in finance. You're good in this. You should do this and that, give her ideas to help her out. Mm-hmm. And then one day she said it again when I came home from work. And I was like, well, why don't you do this with me? And then her eyes lit up and she was like, bet. And then from that point on, here we are today. And then I'll make this short, and then I'll pass it on to my better half. When we were looking for homes together and with we'll call her our mentor, my mom's friend, he was showing us different homes. We were also talking to other people as well outside, getting ideas who have property, because it's good to research and talk to multiple people. And we realized how crazy it is out there, and we'll get into people outside of the state, outside of the country buying properties, and how paying top dollar for something that should be like $2,000 is crazy, but that's where it is. So it's like, well, I'm teaching and it's March. I'm like, man, what can I do? And then right where my kids was on their lunch break, God put something in my head why don't you ask your mom's friend if he be willing to allow you all buy into just one property, actually. So I was like, that's a good idea. And I told Chanel about that. She's like, I called him that same day. Actually, I called him when the thought came to my head, actually, at work. And he was like, let me look into that. So long story short, like my wife said, not just one home. We have stake in 6 homes now with tenants already in it. The houses are well kept, top of the line appliances, security. Homes are beautiful. There's nothing we have to do but just help maintain, 3 times a month. And that's it. And this was a perfect, easy way for us to get into the game without us spending our last dime on something and then things don't go well. So now we get to have the mentorship. We get to see how to interact with tenants. We get to see how to fix things on our own.
Right.
And prepare ourselves to not just still stay with him, but also branch out to other properties. So that's how we got into the game.
Yep. So yeah, I thought that this was an important video to do because I know so many people want to get into real estate, but they don't know how, and they may not even thought to do what we did of just asking someone that they know who may be in real estate, like, hey, can we talk about maybe me purchasing some shares or ownership and kind of being underneath you. So I just thought that this is like, a really good topic to bring up to everyone. But the thing that I was going to also say is, like Antoine said, it's extremely competitive. The idea of even trying to save money to purchase a home, like you said, like 30, 40,000. I mean, some people do have that kind of money, but it's worse than that. I mean, if you want to try to purchase a decent home, and we're in Michigan, for anyone outside of Michigan, you looking at like at least 150,000. So most people don't have 150,000 in cash to put in as an offer. So I will say that we do know others who are in real estate, and their approach was getting loans. And I will say, I don't think that there's any, I mean, that's really the way that you will be able to do it, is to get that loan. And then, like you said, say the loan, say the renter is paying $1,000 a month and your mortgage maybe $600-700. So, they're paying for the mortgage, but then the remaining portion still has to go to maintenance. So it's going to take time to make money. And that's another thing too. Like we weren't just trying to figure out, okay, how can we make money super fast? It was really the idea of getting our foot in the door of real estate and understanding that it's going to take time for us to build to the point of, really seeing the money flow in. But I said all that to say that there are other ways, obviously, of getting into real estate, which would be to get a loan, which is ideal. But so.
No, just to echo what Chanel said, we were blessed to get into this way, which is very helpful for the both of us, especially me, somebody who is climbing up the income bracket, but still not where I want to be, and like she said, $150,000 is a lot to a lot of people, and this is not a get rich quick scheme. It's not, and just to break it down again, if the mortgage is $600, you're getting $400, but you also got the property tax, right? And you also got maintenance. So you're probably going to walk away with $100 a month. That's fine if you understand that and you're good with that. But that's also fine if you know how to flip and keep going and keep adding, And so, but you're not paying that. Here's the thing, but you're not paying that loan though. The tenant is. So yeah, you're probably only going to profit $100 off this house each month, but that's a profit, still not a profit, because, well, it is a profit because no money came out of your pocket the bank probably gave you the loan or someone like that, and like that. And also land contracts.
I was just thinking that.
You could do a land contract. I'll let her talk about that.
Oh, no, I'm
okay.
listening.
Land contracts is another good way. You know, there's, let's say somebody selling their house, or not selling their house. What's a good example?
I mean, yeah, you trying to sell, but you don't want to go through.
Yeah, you don't want to go through a bank. So a land contract is a good way. So with that being said, is maybe if you have a tenant in a house, instead of the money going to a mortgage, it's going to the person who used to own the house, right? Mm-hmm. So that's a land contract. So the person might say, well, hey, I'll sell you this house for $50,000. Well, you might be, I don't have $50,000, but I got $10,000 in cash. So I can give you $10,000 right now in cash, and we can do a land contract for the $40,000. And I'm going to rent this place out for $800, and you'll get half that to you each and every month until I pay off that land contract. Mm-hmm. Now, here's the thing with a land contract as well. If you miss a payment or miss payments, the person who used to own that house automatically gets that house back. Mm. So that's just something you need to think about with a land contract. So it's still a good thing if you can do that. So, yeah, we're definitely really big on generational wealth, businesses, and obviously growing our finance more, you know. And obviously, we should talk about one of the times we went to a property and there was a squatter, you know. So we got our first taste of what it's like. I wouldn't say the person was hostile, but he was kind of hostile, you know. Mm-hmm. He was. But we was with my mom's friend, who watching him, how he de-escalated the whole thing calmly, you know, was a really great way of learning. Yeah. Getting into this business, or anything you do in life, really, but getting into this business, you definitely want to be talking and having some type of mentor or somebody who understands and knows and is doing this. You know, if you have a person who, hey, I have a house and I own a house, and they live in it, that's not the same as somebody who owns properties. How do you manage properties? You know, so everybody who has a house, your mom and dad, your brother, your cousin. I live in a house I own. I know, what is like owning properties with tenants. Yeah. What is it like? That's totally different. So you have to talk to somebody who is doing that. So, yeah.
To go back to your beginning, where you mentioned that you started off with a group. Right. Mm-hmm. And I mean, you know, even though that didn't kind of pan out exactly the way you guys thought, mm-hmm. I do know that is something that a lot of people can think about doing too.
Yeah, it is.
Is kind of like creating like an investment group. Yeah. We know another person who basically did that. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It was a lot of people, but...
Yeah, a lot of people. And you know, and I'll let you just to say that. So before I got into this, I was willing to invest in this person group too, you know, because I thought it was a good idea. But when I did the math and all these people, it's like, I don't understand how if I put in $5,000 and this person put in $200, how do we get the same amount back? You know what I'm saying? In returns each month. So, you know, it was better for me to do it this way.
Yeah. What else? What did I think about with this?
So you started talking about how we'll edit this here. Mm-hmm. You was talking about the group thing, mm-hmm. and investment group. I guess you can talk about how you feel about doing this yourself.
How do I feel about doing this myself? I feel good. I mean, I really like, you know, the idea that we, like you said, we have a mentor and we just have someone that will be able to guide us in the right direction. And, you know, I don't know everything. I work in corporate, I actually work in the financial industry, but I haven't done my own like investing like this, so I'm just like really excited to continue to learn. I think that's the most important things that you should always keep trying to learn more how. And again, I don't know if I said this already, but if you didn't watch our last video about multiple streams of income, make sure you go check that one out too. But I mean, essentially, that is what we're trying to do is, like Antoine said before, have passive income, have something that we can teach, generations after us on how to make their money work for them and not have to work so hard. So
yeah, and this is something that you want to get into. You don't want to sit around and just run your mouth about it and not make any moves. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like if you're going to get into it, then you should be talking to people who is doing it. How do I? And then you should start making steps to it. The first step is see what you can save up in a certain time. The second step is also, and maybe this could also still be a first, if you want to go the loan route, see what kind of loans you can get. Another step, these are all should be number one together, but you got to do your research. You got to see what the market is. That's the number one thing. You have to see what the market is, because you have people from Italy, China, who are coming over here buying property and sitting on it, not doing nothing. Because they already know what the value is. You have people that's in America that doesn't live in, let's just say, Michigan, or don't live whatever state that the market is growing. They're going to buy up all they can and hold it, which is smart. You can't be mad at that. That's smart. Yeah. But what that says for somebody like myself or whoever's watching is tough. So you have to find different avenues on how you can maneuver and get into it. And like Chanel said earlier, and maybe I might have said it too, if you know somebody who you're cool with, who is willing to bring you into what they're doing, that's a good way to get your foot in the door if you don't want to take any loans or, owe anybody any money, So, but also once you do, if you do have a stake in their properties, you got to do your part. You can't just collect money and just be sitting at home chilling. If they want you to do a drive-by, see what it's like, if we got time, do a drive-by. They need help with painting and you got time, go, this is now a piece of your property. This is your home now. You have a stake and you have to take care of it. So, yeah, once we sign the papers and we hand over the check, I am never really thrilled about giving money away, but I was excited to give this money. First of all, I was excited I was able to save this amount of money myself. First of all, well, I was. Secondly, this was just a big boss move for us. It really was. It felt good. It felt right. I was up the night before smiling and thinking about it, watching horror movies. And then my mom and her friend kidnapped us after to celebrate, which was fine because we had a good dinner of laughter and everything. And I'm excited to what 2022 is going to bring, and looking forward to getting in the mix of learning a lot, that we can also expand and take on from there. And yeah.
Okay, so the other thing that we wanted to talk about today actually is traveling. And I wanted to focus on just kind of like some tips with traveling during COVID. So to give an example, we went to the Bahamas for Antoine's birthday in September. So we get to the airport and we got our passport, got our COVID tests. What else? Fully vaccinated. We get up to the kiosk and they need this QR code for a travel visa. Now, mind you, I thought that I had researched everything that we needed, and we did not have this travel visa. So we were able to apply for it right there in the airport, and it was saying pending. So mind you, we got a flight to catch. We had, I don't know how much time, but it was not looking good at all. Like, and this was for Antoine's birthday, so he was not happy. They were like, it has to say approved for the visa, and we can give you guys another flight. You can take the 8 o'clock flight, and this was like 5 in the morning. They were like, oh, you can come back and do the 8 o'clock at night flight or to come back tomorrow. And he was not having it. He was like, no, like, we leaving today. And I'm just like, how, Antoine, like, they not letting us through without this travel visa. So thankfully, it finally said approved. We got the code for the visa and got our boarding passes. And we had like 10, 15 minutes left to get on the plane, but we made it. Had a great time. I think you say you think it's the best trip that we've had. So I say all that to say, when you traveling right now, make sure that you do your research with this COVID, because it's stressful. It's stressful. That was just for the Bahamas, but I know a couple of other people have gone to other countries and they actually didn't need that visa. They just needed their passport, COVID test. And then you got to make sure that you doing these things during like the right time frame. Like your COVID test has to be within 48 hours?
48 hours before the trip.
48 hours before the trip.
And then you got to take a test to get back depending on where you at. So
yeah.
And then I got something to say about that for another trip we was on, but go ahead.
Yeah. So yeah, I would just say, like, number one, to do your research on wherever you're going during this time. What else did you have?
Well, we went to
Puerto
Rico earlier for our anniversary back in May. And, you know, we had to take a test to get back. And that was like that's what they said we had to do. We weren't able to fly back. So we spent about $220 to take this test. And we got it back, you know, they sent it to us within like two days or whatever. So cool, we set, we good, we ain't worried, we about to go back. So we get to the airport, we're leaving to come back home. So we get to the airport and I'm looking around to see where do I go to show that we took our test. No one asked us anything. So we were out $220 for no reason. So Chanel is right, you do have to do your research, but some places just be scheming also. Yeah. I don't know how you foolproof that, because you really can't, because you don't want to take a chance. No. You don't, unfortunately. So would I have done it again? Yes, because I don't know, which is sad, you know, in today's climate. But yeah, she pretty much covered it. Yeah, we that visa, Chanel said, I don't know how we going to go. I said, I'm going to will it. And I did. And when I told you we ran to the airport, my wife, we were running to the gate. Yeah. We were running so fast, dragging our luggage that I think I was running so fast I could have rolled on my luggage because of the how fast we were going. And we got there in time. We were like the last people to board, pretty much, which was crazy. So definitely do your research. We thought we had everything covered, like Chanel said, but now we're going to make sure that we do all our research, take care of everything that is required. And yeah, I will also say I understand what's going on in the world around us. It's another mutation of the virus coming as well, which is crazy. You have to be cautious. You do. But you cannot allow that to stop you from living your best life either. Traveling is cheap to afford a lot of places, you know, depending on how, you know, on you, obviously, like going to Italy, I just found out $650. Like, wow, really? And so if you want to go to these places, be cautious, but you have to live, you know, and like Chanel said, just do your research on what it is you need, places that you can go, how strict they're going to be, because the Bahamas was very strict. Yeah. You know, with COVID, you know, and they probably had the right to, you know, we can't say they shouldn't have been, they had the right to. So just know where you're going and don't limit yourself. And yeah, traveling, it's a hassle right now, but it's still worth it. Yeah. The other thing that I was going to say, like, okay,
once you do get there, once you do get off the plane and get done with all the stress of the whole testing and travel visa situation. So we like to do activities when we go traveling. So with excursions, I would still say to try to book that in advance, because when we went to Puerto Rico, that's a whole nother story in that. But we had a difficult time booking excursions when we got there. Bahamas, not so much. Bahamas was pretty easy to do, but I would still advise to book your excursions ahead of time. So.
Yeah. I don't have much to say. She's right. Because before COVID, we never had to worry about booking any excursions. As soon as we land, book everything right away. Everything's always been available. But Puerto Rico, it was a different thing for us, and we were shocked. But we still managed on our own to find things. You know, it's probably everything we did is probably not something that we would have did if we had booked. You know, but we still was able to do a lot, because we do a lot on our vacations. You know, it's not a vacation just sit on the beach or doing nothing, or just taking pictures or chilling. You know, we want to experience the island or the city or whatever we are at. So especially, like she said, if you go to these islands or these other countries, see if you can book things right away. For the Bahamas, we did book one early, you know, but we got lucky or blessed that it was kind of slow there too around that time.
I think because it is hurricane season.
That's right.
So I think that's why it was pretty easy. Yeah.
And their main time is like New Year's Eve. I think they said Thanksgiving. So, yeah. The
other thing that I was thinking with travel is, I would say, make sure if you saving up the money to go out of the country, you know, make sure that you are experiencing like the people and the culture. I just feel like whenever we go out of the country, it's like the natives there, they have so much history that they can tell you. We did like a boat trip when we were at the Bahamas. We actually drove out an hour to another island, and we were able to, you know, play with all the animals and everything. And then they also like fed us lunch, and then we were just able to just relax and chill there. And that was like really nice. But one of the things that I really took away from that experience too was just talking to the natives there and just all the history that they have. And I just think sometimes like people, they don't get away from the resort, or because even with the Bahamas, typically when people go to the Bahamas, it's
they go to Atlantis.
If they go to Atlantis or they're on the cruise ship. And we were pretty close to
everything far.
So that would just be like my advice and tip. Like if you are going out of the country, like make sure you actually try to experience it, because you're spending this money to go. Like don't just stay at a resort. Like actually go out and experience it.
You know, I like that you said that, because that's very true. I think also for myself, doing that, talking to the natives, you learning a lot, and you view things different. The resorts are nice. For myself, I think the resorts are nice and everything, but they hinder you, even with the food. You know. A great example, New Orleans is so much fun, but you got to get out of French Quarters. Everybody said the real food is outside of French Quarters. You know, and interacting with the people, understanding what's going on around them, like Chanel said, a lot of taxis we had to take, a lot. Because there's no Uber on the Bahamas. And you talking to these people, and they have stories that they want to share. And they even share their stories. Like a lot of these people went to school in America. You know, so you're not going to find that sitting on a beach at your resort, drinking sex on the beach or mojitos, taking pictures of yourself. You know, a vacation is made to not only just give you an experience that you probably don't get at home, but also recharge, you know, do something for your spirit and your mind. And a lot of times when you travel in the world, which is something that we want to do, I want to learn from different things and then bring it back if you can, you know, and teach and develop. So yeah, get off that resort.
Yeah, and you know what? Also, I think another thing that a lot of, and I get it because I was this way too. The fear of being on these in certain countries, and how the one taxi driver was like, "We're more afraid of you guys than you are of us." So I mean, that's kind of messed up, but it actually kind of made me feel better because I know sometimes they just don't feel comfortable, being on their own in other countries because they don't know what may happen. So I think that's actually like, a misconception about different countries, that they just gonna try to rob you or something like that, and that's not always the case.
Yeah. One of my wife's favorite places, which is a place I also like too, is Jamaica. And I was thinking to myself, I'm like, next time we go to Jamaica, I'm like, we got to go to Kingston. We just want to go with a tour guide or somebody who can, take us around. But next time, I mean, we had fun. We did a lot in Jamaica, but it's like, let's experience Jamaica.
Yeah.
You're on a resort. There's people from Jamaica working there, but they're not being Jamaica. They're trying to be the workers, Let's see the culture. Let's see let's hear the reggae music. Let's really see, so traveling, you also have to get out your comfort, like my wife said, get out your comfort zone. No place is safe. And
no place is safe?
No place is safe, and every place is safe.
Oh.
At the same time. Just like people coming to Detroit.
Yeah, well.
Exactly. And it's a lot of safe places in Detroit.
Yeah.
But there's also a lot of places that's like, well, in Detroit, a lot of times is if nobody don't know you, you okay. It's usually stuff happening to people who they know, so here.
Yeah.
And that's probably how it is in a lot of places. Matter of fact, go to the Bahamas. One of the guys at that boat tour that we were doing, he mentioned, now, I don't know if you were around, but he mentioned how, like, a lot of times the beefs be between, like, cousins and family. It don't be nobody trying to go get somebody and try to rob you. It be issues within them, So that's usually how it is actually all over. I mean, stuff still do happen to random people. I'm not saying that, but if you're traveling, get the full experience. Leave that resort and see some things outside of that and really embrace the people, and and especially if you giving out a lot of tips, the people you want to give it to, if you're going to do that, right? Those ones who really need it. So yeah, that's all I have to say.
Yeah. You mentioned Jamaica, and I can see someone looking at this and say, well, y'all can travel or whatever because you don't have any kids. And that's actually not true because when we went to Jamaica, there was this couple that had their son.
Well, he was one too.
Yeah, 1-year-old kid, and we were climbing up like this waterfall.
Yep.
And they had their son, so you can still travel with kids.
Yep. So. Yeah, you really can. I mean, if you want to, you really can. They got a lot of resorts, family friendly, kid friendly. So that's not an excuse at all. And we know there's people who probably live somewhere out of state where there's no family. It's still just cover. It probably was their anniversary too, at that time, and they brought their baby, strapped him on the father on his back, and they climbed that waterfall all the way to the top with us.
Yeah.
When that little boy was actually pretty good. I don't remember him acting up. So don't use your kids as any excuse. And to go back to real estate or do anything, wanting to make money, we got to stop making excuses. We really do. You have to if you want to do this, you got to find a way. If you got to work 2 jobs to build up your pot, then you have to do that. But stop allowing kids, stop allowing family, stop allowing any excuses all the time, or I work too much. I understand. But maybe you only have to have maybe 1 hour of sleep a day right now is what you have to do, which sucks. But if you want to get to that point, these are sacrifices that needs to be made, and I think a lot of times people are making excuses. You know, if I made an excuse for myself, I don't think we would have ever did what we just did with getting into. I would have counted myself out, like said, forget it, and did God knows what with that. Well, paid off my student loans probably with that money, or started that. You know, but still, I would have not have did that. You know, there's always something always happening.
Yeah.
That's never gonna change. So that's my little Marshall wisdom.
Okay. I think that's all I have.
Well, that is it, guys. We hope you enjoyed this. We are extremely excited. Maybe when we go to some of these properties and the tenant is not there, we'll do a walkthrough, not showing none of their personal stuff, but just like, hey, we at our first property, one of our properties, and we'll put it in, not showing address or streets or anything. So y'all won't know nothing. We might just show like a kitchen and a refrigerator, you know, but just, you know, I guess we'll talk about our experience as we go on and expanding and stuff like that. So yeah, we hope you enjoy this and travel. Stuff is cheap, guys. Stuff is so cheap. If you gotta go,
Just wear your mask.
Just wear your mask. Wear your mask. Some places do have fines and laws that if you're not wearing your mask, they will. Like Bahamas, they was very strict.
Yeah.
So we definitely, even though some of them didn't have their mask on, we kept ours on. Like, I don't got time. Right. You already got this vet tax already. That's kicking my butt.
Get into that.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah.
All right. Well, we'll see you next time.
Oh, and please check out the other podcast videos too. Like my wife said, the one before this one is pretty much could be a part 2 if you think about it, about multiple streams of income. Check out all our podcasts. Please like, subscribe, and share. And do not feel afraid to hit us up on Facebook or Instagram or whatever and ask us questions. We don't know a lot, but we do know something now. And we're getting knowledge, and I'm open, my wife is open to share with anybody. I don't believe in getting information and keeping it for ourselves. Actually, today, when I was doing a shoot, people were messaging me about, because there's people who want to get into commercial stuff. That's what I was asking you, you know, so yeah, hit us up. We love to share want all our people to do well, so yeah. All right. Until next time, peace.
Peace.